Everyone is talking about the Islamification of this country, specifically the state of Texas, where there's this big proposed all-Islamic compound that a Muslim center is trying to build. It's called Epic City. Well, we've got a big development on Epic City, and I think it might have just been ended for good. Welcome back to Come and Take It. So in case you missed it, which I don't know how you could have because it's been a big deal here in the state of Texas, Epic City was the name of, I'm not saying was because it's totally done. I'm saying was because they changed their name, okay? Stand by for those details. But Epic City was this proposed 400-acre all-inclusive Islamic compound that the East Plano Islamic Center planned to build outside the Dallas area here in Texas. And again, in case you missed it, number one, I'll link the video, the original video that we did uncovering Epic City in the description. But also, as a refresher, here was the Epic Mosque's pitch for this all-inclusive compound.
402 acres of beautiful scenery. Welcome to the future of living. Welcome to Epic City. Welcome to Epic 2.0. Epic City is more than just a neighborhood. It's a way of life. A meticulously designed community that brings Islam to the forefront, in the heart a mosque and a school.
Oh, great. What could possibly go wrong? Now, some of the Epic leaders allegedly described it as the epicenter of Islam in North America. And I want you to just think about that for a moment, okay? I want to talk to you about the latest development here. But for those of you who have not yet heard about Epic City, I want you to think about that statement. The epicenter of Islam in North America. Not Dearborn, Michigan.
The Muslims packed the streets in Dearborn, Michigan for a religious Aberdeen march.
Not the streets of Minnesota, which, by the way, these places are so infiltrated with Islam. The streets of those places look more like Tehran than America, okay? But they're not saying that those places are going to be the epicenter of Islam in North America. No. They're saying this area that's rather rural in the state of Texas, outside of the city, where no one's paying attention. You can have mosque and Muslim schools and commercial, retail, homes, the parks, everything you could possibly need so you never need to leave. Almost like a sweet little Sharia city. Yeah. The epicenter of Islam in North America, they want to make in Texas. That should terrify every Texan who cares about keeping the state of Texas, right? Who cares about being the bastion of freedom and liberty, which I know we probably could argue that we don't have that title anymore. That title was given to Ron DeSantis over in the state of Florida. Anyone who cares about keeping conservatism, about keeping Texas red, about keeping fundamental Texas values and traditions, that should terrify them. Now, this Epic City, when it was being, discussed originally, it had on its website just earlier this year. This is what's so telling about this place, okay? They wanted to import their people, bring them here. They said on their website before it got scrubbed, they said, realizing that many responsible citizens of other countries might be interested in our properties, our offering is open to any person we approve within the property and investment laws of the United States. Oh, responsible citizens of other countries might just want to come here. Well, why would that possibly be? Because we're creating an all-inclusive Islamic compound. Brand new, state-of-the-art. All of the Islamists are going to want to come. They also said, we will limit sales to only persons we believe will contribute to the overall makeup of our community and are legally eligible to invest and buy property in the United States. So they are very, very clearly, or they were before it got scrubbed because they had all sorts of investigations into all the way that they set this up. Everything about them they had investigations into. But I mean, pretty much saying, like, we are going to discriminate when we go through applications for this. We're going to discriminate. If you want to read between the lines here, which we're gonna, they're saying if you're not Muslim, you're not getting in. You must be one of us in order to get in. Only persons we believe will contribute to the overall makeup of our community. Like, what the heck does that mean other than Muslims only? Okay. Now, on top of that, before the website was scrubbed, it said that the mission statement of this development, the entire development, was, quote, committed to building a vibrant and inclusive community that serves the evolving needs of the Muslim community. There it is, right there. Like, that's so wholly illegal. You can't do that. Immediately, this stinks. This whole thing stinks. The website stinks. The plan stinks.
This stinks. This stinks. This stinks.
Everything, like, alarm bells should be going off in everyone's heads right now. Like, what is this plan? What are they actually trying to do here? This stinks to high heaven. And because it did, this is what we've talked about, we've covered it throughout the months that this has been going on. Because it did, because it was so immediately obvious, this stinks. There is something afoul happening here. Multiple different government agencies in Texas were instructed to investigate this. Because, I don't know, guys, sounds a whole lot like Sharia cities in the state of Texas. It sounds a whole lot like no-go zones being built in the state of Texas right before your very eyes in broad daylight. We don't do no-go zones in Texas. Not here, not ever. If you don't like it, well, guess what? Don't come. That's what we're about. Okay? So this place, this planned development, remember, they hadn't even done anything yet. They had these plans. They were submitting, required information to all of these governmental agencies. They were participating in all of, like, the red tape procedures before you can actually do this. They were asking for money. They were asking people to send money to have shares of this property that wasn't built yet. But they had so much blowback, so much pushback from the local community. So many people showing up to these, city commissioners meetings like, you guys can't do this. You can't do this. You got to stop this. They had national attention. There was just a Daily Mail article written about this place like last week, and it was not good for the leaders, the Muslim leaders of this place. And it went into all of the disgusting extremist rhetoric that these people have been spewing and that these people are connected to by way of bringing in these speakers to come speak to their congregation, whatever I don't know what you call it when it's a mosque. They're people, okay? So they had so much blowback that they actually, we learned a couple weeks ago from Collin County Judge Chris Hill that the Enclave's development company, now I want you to pay very close attention. The development company is called Community Capital Partners. They were, by the way, I'll refer to them as CCP. I don't mean the Chinese Communist Party, okay? I just mean Community Capital Partners. Chris Hill said that they were already planning on resubmitting all of their development paperwork under the development name The Meadow.
There's a new battle coming on property taxes. Some school districts want to keep parents locked out, and a court ruling will be hitting your pockets. Wherever you happen to be in the Lone Star State, thanks for spending part of your day here with the Texas Minute. If you find yourself enjoying the podcast, please take a moment to rate it, leave a review, and encourage your friends to listen.
The Meadow. They're like, what sounds American? What sounds less threatening? What will people just, I don't know, they'll just ignore. Like, they'll just think, oh, Epic City just totally went away. It's this totally new development, and it's called The Meadow, and that sounds American. What could possibly go wrong? A place called The Meadow. That's so milquetoast American. No one's ever going to bat an eyelash at what we're doing here. Like, they thought that we wouldn't find out it was just the same people with a different name. It's crazy. They were asked about this, and the president of CCP released a statement about the name change. And he said, in light of some public confusion over whether the development would become a separate municipality, Epic City, Community Capital Partners chose to change the name of the development from Epic City to the Meadow to better describe the beautiful property and the inclusive, family-centered, mixed-use, master-planned community being designed. It's like, oh, we didn't want you to think that we were like actually building our own Sharia city. Duh, that's not happening. That's not why we've got everything that anyone could need right here in this community where they would never need to leave. And we're playing these promotional videos with all of this weird music in the background. No, please. We're happily changing it to the Meadow. Actually, that's actually the name that we wanted to begin with. That's just, so what are you talking about? Like, how ridiculous. Of course you guys thought that you were going to pull a fast one. Now, they claim in that statement, you hear that they claim that this is still in the design process. It is being designed according to this, the president of CCP who's building it. Well, it's appearing less and less likely that they're ever going to break ground, especially since at the end of last week, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced that he is suing just about everyone involved. He is suing them for securities violations after alleging that they are engaged in an illegal land development scheme. So he's suing Epic, East Plano Islamic Center. He's suing the CCP group. He's suing the individual leaders. He's suing all of them. He said, you get a lawsuit and you get a lawsuit and you get a lawsuit. You're all getting lawsuits. Because you guys need to understand very clearly, we're not doing this here, not in Texas. You know what? I don't want you doing any of this in my country to begin with. But if you got to do it in our country, go to Dearborn, Michigan. Go to Minnesota. Go join Ilhan Omar. Like, go do. They're already doing those things there. By the way, it's not working very well for them. In fact, it's ended up just recently, we found out that there are billions of dollars that have been stolen from American taxpayers that have been funneled to terror groups. So go do that thing over there, okay? Because here in Texas, we're not doing that. That is not a thing that we are going to do. There are a lot of problems with my state. There are a lot of problems with my state, and there are a lot of problems with the Republican leadership within my state. I will be the first one to admit that. It's why I sat down and I said, I have to do this Texas podcast. It's literally why, because I know there are a lot of problems within my state that I want to make sure get fixed, okay? But one thing that it feels a whole hell of a lot like we are all aligned on is you're not turning my state into an unrecognizable third world country, and you're not turning my state into a Muslim majority area. We see I have eyeballs. I see what's happening in Europe. I see what's happening in the UK. I see what's happening. I see the crime statistics. I see the violent sexual crimes only going up and up and up. I see the terrorism. Like, we all have eyeballs. We all see what is happening. And it's nothing personal. It's not like every single one of them must be terrible people. It's just not something we're going to do here in Texas. We're not doing that. We're not having no-go zones. We're not having Sharia compounds. We're not doing that. And there is no one that I trust more than Attorney General Ken Paxton to make sure that that doesn't happen. So he, of course, had a press release when they announced this lawsuit, that this lawsuit had been filed. He said the leaders behind Epic City have engaged in a radical plot to destroy hundreds of acres of beautiful Texas land and line their own pockets. I will relentlessly bring the full force of the law against anyone who thinks they can ignore the rules and hurt Texans. The unlawful land project known as Epic City will be stopped, and those responsible will be barred from ever creating another fraudulent operation like this again. Mike freaking drop. Paxton's office also claims that this development company, CCP, funneled investor funds for personal enrichment and failed to verify whether more than 10% of investors qualified as accredited investors as required by law. The lawsuit is, those of you who are like legal nerds, you'll probably be very interested in reading the lawsuit. It's like 20 pages or so. I highly recommend you read it if so. But what's interesting is when you read the lawsuit, that on top of what I just read to you, the office is accusing them of numerous misrepresentations, one of which, I'll just give you one, because I know like getting in the weeds with securities violations and, deceptive, trade practices and stuff like that is sometimes like people are like, what? I don't get it. Let me just give you one that really stuck out to me. Okay. One of them is that the CEO of the development company, CCP, is also the general partner of Epic. His name is Imran Chowdhury. He is on the record. They have put him on the record. He has said multiple times in multiple different ways he was only helping as a volunteer. You see, he really believed in this, and he was only helping as a volunteer. He was volunteering his time for this development, and that he would not be receiving a single cent in profit from the project. He is on the record saying that in some of the stuff, the promotional materials that they were putting out to people. So someone goes and they're thinking about, buying up a share of this land, which is already another weird thing about this. Like, they're not actually purchasing homes. They're like buying shares. So it's already super shady. But someone would think like, wow, this guy believes in this enough that he's just volunteering his time. That means a lot to me. Well, it turns out the lie detector determined that was a lie.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Because the AG's office uncovered a contract for CCP to pay this guy's company $360,000 a year. Which, I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, but that's a far cry from I'm not receiving a single cent. It turns out you're receiving a lot of cents, to the tune of $360,000. And by the way, this wasn't just like an oopsies. This wasn't like we just forgot. We didn't realize. We just oopsied. We just oopsied. This isn't that, because the same month that this was earlier this year, I believe it was in April, the same month that they re-upped a video, they posted a video on YouTube with this guy saying, I'm just a volunteer. I'm not even making money off of this. They posted that video on YouTube the same month that he received $30,000 for that project. So that's really gross stuff. The Islam thing aside, because Islam, I don't know how, I don't have to tell you guys this. If you're watching this, Islam is not compatible with the United States. Islam is not compatible with Texas. This is not a thing that we're going to do. We can't do it. But the thing is it's not only about the Islam problem. It's not only about the fact that they are trying to implement their agenda. They are trying to infiltrate and take over the West and dismantle it. It's literally, that's in their words, not mine. Okay? That's not even, that's a problem. But also, what a really these are just, sounds like bad people. Misrepresenting that they're not, we're not getting paid. And then they're taking some of this money that these, funders have been sending. And he's just signing a contract for his business. And I'm sure he's like, I personally didn't get paid. My business got paid. It's just that's really gross, deceptive, bad, evil stuff going on. So it has to be stopped. And it sounds like, I don't know. You read the lawsuit and you read the things that these people are accused of. And if true, including that they're telling people this is nestled in the heart of Josephine, Texas. Well, it turns out it's not. It's not even in Josephine. It's not technically in Josephine. It's in this unincorporated area where they're not going to get the same city, benefits, the utilities that they would if they had actually been within city limits. And they knew that. So it's just bad people committing fraud. And on top of that, they want to bring Islam to this state. I think, guys, I think Ken Paxton has effectively put the final nail in the coffin for Epic City. I'm sorry, the Meadow. The Meadow. What's more American than a meadow? Well, it turns out the Meadow is going to stay a meadow, it looks like, with the final nail in the coffin. At least that is my prayer, that is the case. Wouldn't that be so ironic? That'd be so ironic. They're like, oh, we called it the Meadow, and then it stayed a meadow because we were in big trouble with the law and Ken Paxton. So there is no one I trust more in the state to courageously battle the Islamification of Texas than Ken Paxton. We'll keep an eye on this. It is obviously at the forefront of my mind, as I'm sure it is all of you guys. I talk to the grassroots in the state of Texas, and every single time they are like, this is the issue. This is the top issue. This is the issue that we have to take care of before it's too late, because we already have a glaring, obvious example of what happens when you don't take care of it. So it is my prayer that we do. We'll keep an eye out. You let me know what you guys think in the comments. What else can we be doing? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to smash the like button. It'll help us in the algorithm. And we will see you guys next time on Come and Take It.